we fucking have sex.
You said
This week, we are doing The Favorite, a film by Yorgos Lanthimos in our sort of mini Yorgos Lanthimos series leading up to his new film. This film stars Emma Stone, Olivia Colman, Rachel Weisz, what's his name? Nicholas Hoult, and Taylor Swift's ex-boyfriend. A film that explores power, the costs to gain such power, manipulation, deception, amongst other things, but mostly power and the imbalance of that power and the division of class and people and things. And it's a film that we will discuss today.
Well, Hunter, are you getting on your phone?
He's being really loud. Is he okay? Like,
I think he's fine. I think he's just exploring the world around him, as children do.
Yes.
And his foot is probably hurting a little bit.
Yeah.
But Hollis is fine. Hollis is a
Yeah.
big boy. You, on the other hand,
Not.
a child. And I need to ask you a question.
Yes.
What is the favorite good?
I will use my underdeveloped mental cognitive skills to provide an answer for you in roughly 1 hour's time. I do.
I do?
Yeah. They hate the French, don't they?
I mean, not necessarily. There's someone at one of the parties that's French, but we'll get into it. This is the episode.
Cool.
Beep.
Beep.
So live editing just means rolling with it.
No, hold on.
But is it good podcast? Yeah, 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 yeah.
Hello.
Hello. And welcome
How are you?
to the But Is It Good podcast. I'm going to ignore you for a minute, where we talk about movies and answer the important question. But is the movie that we're talking about that week good? I'm doing well, Hunter. How are you? I'm your host, Zach Olson, and this is my co-host.
Hunter Callahan.
There you go. Yes. How are you doing?
I'm exhausted, actually.
Yeah, you've had a rough 24 hours. The hemorrhoids. It just burst forth.
Dude, I was watching a show last night. So me and Hannah have been watching Presumed Innocent on Apple TV.
Okay.
And there's a line where this judge says something like, it's so strange. It was like, sometimes court cases can be like, motherfucker. Sometimes court cases can be like hemorrhoids. And I was like, okay, interesting. And she said, and you know what? I don't mind a hemorrhoid. Sometimes I can even like it, but I don't like this. And I was like, what does that line mean?
I can already tell you that that show, whoever wrote it, I don't know. I don't think I'd be a fan of it.
They've never had a hemorrhoid.
I mean, I don't know.
So far, the show is good, but it could go either way with like the plot.
Are y'all excited about Orphan Black Echoes?
What? I don't even know about this.
There's like an Orphan Black spinoff called Orphan Black Echoes that is being heavily advertised.
When does it come out?
He's learning about it right now. I don't know when it comes out.
Oh, it's out.
Oh, it's out. Well, boom. It's got Kristen Ritter.
It's a sequel series
Mm-hmm.
that takes place decades in the future. Wow. Orphan Black was like not a good show, but also like amazing.
I watched. How far did I actually get? Was I only like halfway through? Was I only 1/3 of the way through?
I don't even like remember, but
Okay.
yeah, actually, it got like great reviews.
So
I'm trying to see.
for a while, it was just her and like one other twin or clone or
yeah,
whatever.
and then by the end, there's like 4 or 5 of them.
Well,
Well, there's a lot more, but like 4 or 5 main ones.
yeah. So I got to the point where there was one like scientist one. There was like a soccer mom one. There were more. I think there was one that like lived on a plantation or something.
Yeah, she was.
Or
like,
was that
yeah.
one? Or was
No,
that
there was-
something else?
There's one where like she was like super proper and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Sorry, I'm kind of worried. I don't want. Hollis broke his foot. Let's just get that out of the way.
Always broke his
So the
foot.
past 4 days for me have been my Eddie's show.
Mm-hmm.
Got home at 1:00. Got up the next day at 5. So just exhausted. Didn't sleep good that next night either. Went to work yesterday. Got a call around 11 a.m. Was like, hey, Hollis probably broke his foot. So I had to come back. Went to the hospital, all this stuff. He probably did break it, actually. He's got a little cast, a little wrap and a boot. We got him a little boot.
There's so much inflammation that they couldn't see whether or not there was a
Yeah.
fracture.
Because there was, quote unquote, severe tissue damage.
Mm.
And they said, if he's still hurting like this in a week, bring him back. And we're like, a week? Excuse me? So, yeah, to this day, since it happened, he has not walked. He's taken a step with a boot. And then he was like, no, thank you.
I assume y'all took him to like a minor medical or something?
We took him to the pediatrics, to the pediatrician because
Okay.
urgent care was taking so long. And then they referred us to Piedmont.
But did he see his like primary care?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then,
Okay.
we went and got an x-ray.
Okay.
And they were like, can't really tell.
Dang.
So yeah, it's been a doozy. It's been just a wild. It's just been. So he can't walk.
Y'all just like pick him up?
Like he's been playing by like, we'll put him on a pillow on his knees and he'll stay on his table and play.
He
And
was
then-
kind of standing when you sent me that picture.
Yeah, and he's like started to where he was like he'll get up. Like
Mhm.
we iced his foot for like 10 minutes a day, so that's why I might have gone down a little bit. I don't know. It's tough. I mean, he's a trooper, but I am very tired, admittedly. So I will I'll crank up the energy here in a second. Crank.
It's up to 11. Here he is.
There I am. I'm
Hunter
back.
Callahan
I'm back.
in the
I'm ready.
flesh.
How are you, Zach?
I'm great, and I'm ready to talk about this movie, The Favorite.
Let's do it. Please like and subscribe.
Please.
If you don't, then you'll miss out on more of this
Please.
podcast. You'll make Zach sick.
I need a tummy mic.
Tell me
Like my own like
just
a,
goes,
like just like a singular directional mic that's like super sensitive that wouldn't pick up my voice somehow.
I've got one at my parents' house. Although I'd probably get your voice.
Dang.
Yeah.
Dang.
You
Because my stomach makes some noises, y'all.
we're doing The Favorite. We're
Mhm.
doing another Yorgos Lanthimos movie.
Because we messed up our scheduling, and the movie that we thought came out last week was only in select theaters. Yeah.
Well, it's one of those. It's another one of those freaking like release things where it's like, hey, it gets released this day, but actually, if you read the fine print, it gets released in like
Mhm.
one small town in America this day, but it gets released the
You
rest
mean
of
like
the
LA?
country.
Small
Yeah,
town.
tiny town. And then when it says wide release, it actually means like like indie theaters across the country. It doesn't actually mean like your local theater.
Yep.
So I looked it up. I'm going to Wisconsin in 2 days. I'm going to Wisconsin on Thursday.
And you found a
I found so the way that it works is that on Thursday I'll fly in. I got to fly to Milwaukee, then I got to drive for 2 hours to like Appleton or Green Bay or whatever it is. And then we work like that night.
okay.
So, oh yeah, sorry, we have to whisper because Hollis is very restless.
Yes.
So like I'll fly in, I'll get to my hotel like 2, and then at like 5:30 we have to rehearse and set up for the show on Friday. So I can't like land and go see the movie.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So I found a showing.
2 a.m.
The only one that I'll be able to see is at 9 o'clock. And
Right.
it's a 3-hour movie.
It's 3 hours.
2 hours and 45 minutes.
Wow.
And so I have to go see this screening, and I have to get up the next morning at like 6
So you're gonna be well rested.
to like do this show. But I'm gonna.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's the plan at least, because otherwise I have to go to Atlanta sometime.
When
this
do you get
weekend.
back?
I get back at like Friday night at like 8 o'clock.
Do you leave tomorrow?
I'll leave on Thursday.
So you're,
Just one nighter.
okay.
But
Okay.
but the problem is that I have to drive from Appleton, Wisconsin, back to Milwaukee to get my flight. So that's why it's so much later.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're doing Yorgos Lanthimos. We're gonna make it work somehow. We're doing the favorite.
Gotta put your other arm up here, like this.
So Zach, I'm gonna ask you, because this is my episode.
Mm-hmm.
Don't ever forget that.
You get a lot of emails.
I do get a lot of emails. My question to you, sir, is your first reaction of the favorite.
I loved it. I thought it was
Mm-hmm.
really well done. I'll say right off the bat, it feels more grounded and just like it moves forward in a way that previous Yorgos Lanthimos films seem to like kind of snake and go back and forth and just have like weird quirky things. This feels just like a linear plot.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely has the Yorgos stamp of black comedy and
Mm-hmm.
dry humor, and then the like hint of like horror right at the end. I feel like all of his films contain like a certain element of like
Okay, yeah.
horror in them,
Mm-hmm.
or just like really darkness, maybe would be a better term. I thought all three of the main actresses who played the Queen and the two who were vying for the Queen's
Abigail
favor,
and Sarah?
maybe. That sounds right.
Abigail and
Anne, Abigail,
Mrs. Marlborough.
and Sarah Marlborough,
Yes.
I think is correct. Sarah Churchill, the Duchess of Marlborough, but they
Yes.
call her Lady Marlborough.
Lady Marlborough.
I thought they all did a fantastic job. I thought Nicholas Hoult did a great job
Mm-hmm.
in his role as well. Yeah, I don't think I have a single complaint about this film.
Yeah.
So that's my first thought.
I would have to agree with that sentiment. I think so far, this is his most accessible movie.
For sure. Out of the ones that we've watched.
That we've seen.
Yeah.
Um,
I would recommend this to members of my family, where the other films that we've watched, I'm not sure if they would understand
Yeah.
or appreciate.
like The Lobster had, like every line was like a deadpan.
Yeah. I love it.
It's like an elementary
it.
play that no one can read their lines correctly, but it works.
Mm-hmm.
And this one is a bit more straightforward
Yep.
as far as the delivery of the lines and the acting, but the acting is still phenomenal. But it still has, like you said, the like Lanthimos stamp on it and like his fingerprints all over it.
Mm-hmm.
It's really funny. There's some things in The Lobster. I know I'm kind of going back and forth with The Lobster, that in how some of the things were said and written that reminded me of Poor Things.
Yep.
And then a lot of the framing in this movie,
The fish
fisheye
lenses.
lenses and the
Yeah.
crazy wide lenses.
Yeah.
But I loved it. I thought it was exceptional. I think I liked it better than The Lobster.
Okay. That's fair.
Maybe. I'm not sure. They're pretty neck and neck. I loved the. I'm not even sure how to say it. It's like just its subject matter too, like how it portrayed each person. Like you go through phases with each character of like, man, they suck. Oh man, I love them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, actually, I kind of hate them. I thought it was very strong. I thought it was phenomenal. I don't know how I never know how we do the Golden Goods for these kinds of movies that are like a handful of years old. But this is definitely up there for me.
Yeah, I agree.
Hmm.
I think we like Yorgos.
I would say that we like Yorgos. I think I said that after I watched this. I said he's quickly becoming one of my favorite working directors.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And there's more we can do. I just want to say,
we have The Killing of the Sacred Deer.
right, like,
Yep.
I'd love to keep doing his movies if we find space for it.
Yeah. Well, he's got another one coming out next year.
Yep.
I just saw that. I didn't write it down, but that's some of my news where it's like, whatever it's called. What's it called?
I have no idea.
I know you told me.
I send you things so that it leaves my brain and enters
Bugonia.
yours, so that you have to worry about it and I don't.
And it has Emma Stone and Jesse Plemons. It's oh dang, next November. That's far away, but whatever. Anyway, yeah, cool. So the favorite. It's time for movie minute.
It's time for 60 seconds in which Hunter Callahan,
All right,
first of his name probably.
well, Ted. Yes, I mean, and the second Joseph in the family, but it wasn't a Joseph Callahan. It's Joseph Strainer. So
Is just a stringer.
Joseph Strainer.
Strainer.
Yes, my mother's maiden name.
Is that one of those? You know how, like, some people, they're like, my last name's Farmer because when my family came here, they were farmers. Was Joseph just like straining pasta like full time?
Why? Because he's Italian?
No, because his last name is Strainer.
No, but you're not that far off. Actually, they came to Ellis Island. He was born just after his parents came to America.
Okay.
And when they came to America, they were like, our name is Francisco Stranieri. And they were like,
Strainer.
The hell? What? Strainer. Okay. And so they were like, all right, I guess.
Okay.
So
cool.
it became Strainer.
Yep.
It's not that interesting. Actually, it is just kind of sad.
I bet he strained pasta at least once in his life.
Probably once in his life, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's
family tradition.
How do you spell a strainer?
Strainer. Strainer.
Okay, but his last name is Straner.
That's Strainer.
Nah, it's pronounced Strainer.
No. Agree to disagree.
What are we talking about?
It's time for movie in a minute.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Where Hunter Callahan,
First of his name. Okay, that's how I started.
Has to talk about the movie in all of its glory in 60 seconds. On the dot, not less, not more. 60 seconds. That was a good. That was good, wasn't it?
Reminds you of that day when you were like, you gotta lick your fingers first. Your dogs. Okay, here we go. This is The Favorite. Or if you pronounce it in the British way, The Favorite. It's got a U in there.
Aluminium.
I'm so tired. This is The Favorite in 60 seconds. 1 minute.
Yep, you're doing it right.
All right. Here we go.
Did you cut it?
Well, I made a mark for myself to cut it.
Okay.
And now the world will never know what we talked about.
No idea.
They'll never know. Here we go. This is Movie in a Minute, The Favorite. In 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, so it's Queen Anne. It's England. Queen Anne has this friend, Sarah, lifelong friend, and she's her favorite. But then this girl, Abigail, she's poor. She was sold by her dad. Comes to this place. Her cousin is Sarah. Asks for a job. She's all like endearing and sweet. And is like, I just want to be nice to people. But actually, she's playing the long game, man. She's like getting her foot in the door. She's kind of making friends with the queen. She essentially becomes the new favorite, and she gets married and becomes a lady. So she's safe. She can't be kicked out. There's this whole long scheme. Poisons Sarah. Sarah gets drugged by a horse, goes to a brothel, gets brought back. But then Anne, who loves Abigail more now, kicks her out. And then the twist is that Sarah's like, no, I love you because I'm honest with you. And you look like a badger, and Abigail is just trying to use you so she can live this lifestyle, which is true. But then at the end, she banishes Sarah and realizes that Abigail kind of uses her, so then everybody's unhappy. The end.
I don't know if Sarah's unhappy at the end. I really don't.
I think the very last. Okay, we're cutting to the end. Spoilers. I think the very last shot, right? So she.
Is Sarah in the very last shot?
No. No, sorry. Abigail is the one. Sarah, I think Sarah's unhappy because she loses her friend.
But she's free and she gets to go to France.
Yeah, I mean,
You have to say it that way.
France, even in real life, she won this story.
Mhm.
Like, she's a Churchill. Like, she stayed in nobility and, like, look at her descendants, you know what I'm saying? But I think she still lost her friend. I don't know a ton about the real life story of Sarah and Anne and Abigail, but I know that Sarah has some pretty scathing writings about Queen Anne.
Sarah does?
I believe so. Yeah.
Mm.
But yeah, so she does make one last plea at the end behind closed doors, and it's
Mhm.
like, I'm honest with you because I love you and I'm not just trying to use you. But then yeah, I think that last shot, and when Abigail like almost crushes a bunny, and when she's like rub my leg, whatever, just kind of it's to me setting up like
We don't need to jump right to the end. I just wanted to say I'm not sure
Okay.
Sarah's
okay.
unhappy.
Well, I'm just saying. Where do you want to jump to then?
Maybe the beginning.
That's a good place to start.
It's always a good place to start.
Yeah.
So
When did you watch this?
Hmm?
When did you watch this?
The night after you did,
Oh, okay.
probably, because you rented it and then I watched it.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. Trying to remember how this starts.
It starts at the beginning. So
I hate you.
Great Britain is at war with France.
France.
Queen Anne has gout and a bunch of other health issues. And Sarah is effectively running the government. She is using her position to influence the direction of certain events. Like I'm not sure if she's ever like, I need to lower my volume. I'm not sure if she's ever like explicitly dishonest to anybody, but she definitely withholds information from people.
Who's Sarah?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And is running the show. She's the one signing off on things, the people coming to ask the government for provisions or whatever. She's the one, talking with the nobility at the parties and saying, this is what we're going to do.
Yeah.
And then she's always at Anne's side whenever there's any important meeting. Meanwhile, Anne is just like kind of suffering. Like
yeah.
in a lot of pain and like not paying attention to what's going on, and it isn't clued into what's going on because Sarah's withholding certain information from her.
Yeah. Anne to me is she's the saddest.
It's the tragedy of the
Yeah,
the
she's
movie.
the saddest story in this film. She's the loneliest and the most long suffering person. Sorry, I was reading a little bit about like the real life people.
Okay.
I don't have time to dive into it, but so I'm not sure how. Like I've read some people didn't like that this film is very historically inaccurate, which
Yeah.
is not the point of the movie, frankly.
Right.
But yeah, so Sarah's definitely pulling the strings, and it's like the love, the difference between her and like Abigail, right, is like Sarah's purpose, the reason behind her desire to be in favor, if you will, is love of country, right? To influence that. Whereas Abigail's love of self.
Right.
Like she even says, like, I'm on my side always. That's it.
I have a question for you. Do you believe that Abigail was... Well, and let me ask you what you think and what you think would be more impactful.
Okay.
Because I think I interpreted things a little bit differently. Do you think she was always on her own side and she like went to the palace with the intent of getting in that position and just like living the high life? Or do you think she went there with good intentions and she really did? She did have these morals that she said, I will not.
Mhm.
At one point she says like, I will not, move away from my morals, whatever she says. She's
Yeah.
like, I've got these morals and they're staying put, damn it.
Yep.
And she eventually gets caught up in this
competition.
Game of
if you will.
Thrones
Yeah.
style, competition and like
think-
backstabbing, and she like comes to like it, and then by the end it's like completely changed her.
I think it's a little bit of both, because I think, we do learn. This film does a great job of like humanizing everybody,
Mm-hmm.
even when they're like awful. One of the strengths of this film, in my opinion, is that it does a big gender swap on like the main roles of films, where it's like, these women are like the men are like cast to the side, and they're like the pretty ones dressed up, and it really shows these main three women as humans, as people who are good and bad.
You saying that the ladies weren't pretty?
I'm saying that they are all beautiful without having to break their necks to be perceived as such.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is, like, all of them, I think they're all shown in so many different lights where it's like they're just a person, and my interpretation of Abigail is that she came to the palace, whatever it is, manor, looking for safety and stability. We learn a lot about her story, where she was sold at 15, or not sold, I guess lost in a bet at 15, right? And like raped and like sexually abused
Yep.
and all that stuff. And so like she's got trauma.
Mm-hmm.
And I would imagine is just looking for safety. But I think she, in the beginning, maybe uses that kind of innocent demeanor. Maybe not uses it. Maybe it's natural. Maybe it's organic. But she uses it to, gain favor. But then I think after a while it becomes, maybe when she feels threatened, she's like, I'm going to stay. Because I think there's a line in there where she even says, as it turns out, I'm capable of much, like, whatever, not
Right.
violence, but like,
So it seems like she's
Yeah.
even coming to realize that,
like
it
she
turns
can do
out
it,
I can
you
do
know?
this too.
yeah.
I think the moment that it was evident to me was when they were out shooting, and she was like, of course I'll keep your secrets, even your deepest, darkest secret,
Mhm.
and it was like, oh shit, she's throwing that in her face, that she knows that they're
Yeah.
bumping uglies,
Bump.
as it were.
Well put. Yeah. And that,
And then it's not long after,
where
Where-
she talks to the guy or whatever.
and she's
Yeah.
like, we should get married. And it's like,
Yeah.
at that point I was like, okay, she's just playing him.
Now she's playing the game. I think when she realized that she had leverage,
Mm-hmm.
she was like, well, I'm going to use it, I think by the end of it, it is very apparent that she has fully stepped into, I care about myself,
With the party
yeah,
montage.
with all that stuff. And then even like she becomes cruel.
Yep.
Like she does become cruel. And I think Sarah's like the inverse of that, where she is perceived kind of as cruel.
Cold exterior,
Yeah.
but it comes from a good place.
Yeah.
And she's doing what's necessary.
And then behind closed doors with the queen, there is much more intimate moments of tenderness, if you will. But then even after she's gone through all that, she was dragged through the mud, literally, and like all that stuff, and exiled. She,
Maintains her poise.
she threatens to blackmail her, and with all the letters,
Yeah, that was a low point.
But then she
burns 'em.
Then she burns them, and she's like, she doesn't do it.
I ain't gonna do that.
She can't go through that. Meanwhile, Abigail intercepts her letter and burns it
Mm-hmm.
as a way of deception. So they're really kind of the inverse. And it's funny because when you break it down, sorry, I'm like rambling, but when you break it down, like I said earlier, Sarah's motive is love of country, is influence of Britain, of, the war, all that kind of stuff. Whereas Abigail's is self-preservation and egocentric. But like at the end, when she's like, I'm safe, I've won, and she's like, we were playing different games, you know.
Counterpoint, real quick.
Please.
And this is just for the sake of conversation because I agree with you for the most part.
Yeah.
But Sarah was lying to the queen about revolts in the countryside because they were raising property taxes and people were unhappy about the war. And they were continuing this war that was like wildly unpopular in the country, it sounds like. So does that sound like, do you think there was anything else for Sarah to gain from the war? Or do you think she really just wanted to like wipe France off the map?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely sounded like a vendetta, where she was like, they need to be like exterminated.
I don't think she said that. Also, there was someone.
What did she say?
She just said like we need to fight them until they come crawling to us for peace terms. We don't need to offer them peace terms because otherwise they're going to be unfavorable, is essentially what she was saying. But the only way to continue the war and to finance it was to raise taxes, which was wildly unpopular. Not only that, but the person on the forefront of the war who would benefit and like gain titles and like be the hero was her husband, right? So I'm just saying, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I think she. Do
you think she wanted her husband to die?
No.
Okay.
No. I don't think that. I also don't think that. I'm not saying she's this like altruistic, like pure. I think she wants power. But I think the motive behind her power, behind her desire for power, is bigger than herself. Not necessarily better or like that's good or bad, but I think that gives her more resolve, maybe.
Okay.
And like
she definitely runs a tighter ship than Abigail does.
Says like something about like this comes with a cost and I'm willing to pay the price, whatever. Whereas Abigail, it's not about honor or preservation of country or whatever, or conquering, or it's like power for power's sake. But I still think it's self-preservation. Like I think it's safety.
Yeah, self-preservation and safety. But weren't you happy when Abigail won at first? Weren't you like, yeah, Sarah's out of here?
Yeah, totally. I think that's a testament to the movie because like I remember when Abigail was talking about the bunnies, you know. And I was like, oh.
By the way, there's 17
bunnies.
Symbolic rabbits.
Yes.
One for each child that Queen Anne miscarried, essentially.
Yeah. And like when that started happening and she was like dancing with Anne and stuff, I was like, oh, yeah. That's what she needs. Yeah. And like she needs someone to like sit in the pain with her and be like, oh, that's so sad. Because Sarah was like, I'm not going to touch your stupid rabbits. They disgust me, whatever.
Even when she wasn't necessarily telling the truth, when she was like, you look lovely today. And the queen was like, you're
mocking me.
You're mocking me. And she's like, no, you mock me.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, truly. I was like, you know what? The queen needs to hear this. The queen needs positivity. You know what I mean? I was like all the way on board.
Yeah.
And then when Sarah said what she said,
you look like a badger
behind the wall. Not just you look like a badger, but like
behind
I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I'm gonna tell you the truth. I was like, shit.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
But
they both were such extremes that like Anne still felt lonely and still felt, because I get it. Like I remember. Like
you mean at the end she still felt lonely, or
just in like both times? Like Anne was so, like Anne.
I think she was happy there for a little while until the honeymoon phase wore off with Abigail.
Yeah, and there are moments with Sarah too that she was very happy with, but like she was suicidal. She was about to jump out a window, and Sarah said, "Aim for that; it'll break your fall." And it's like, shit, that's awful. but like I get it to an extent where it's like, if I work on something, you just have to know the person. Like if I work on something and I'm like, hey, what do you think about this? I want to know, but like you can say, oh, that's awesome. I see you put a lot of hard work into that. I like all of these things. I might change this, but overall, I think it's really great. Or that's different than saying, I would change all these things.
And you look like a badger.
And you look like a badger.
Which you do.
Ouch. I know that. I have a mirror.
True.
But so you need like a blend of the two to be like, hey, I'm gonna build you up, but I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah. Yes. But have you ever had a manager who every time they compliment you, you know, there's criticism coming right after it because they read it in a book or like learned it in a class? Because I have.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I don't.
So you learn not to.
I don't think I've had that like that black and white, like that cliche, if you will.
I have.
But I get it. Yeah.
Every time I've gotten a compliment from this one particular manager, and it
Yeah.
wasn't just me; it was everyone on the team. They were like, "We don't believe her compliments because it's always just like
Yeah.
a front for the criticism
Yeah.
that comes behind it." You know?
Well, I remember there's times where I'm not gonna name names or say who it is.
Is it me?
No, it's not you. But like,
Is it Chase?
no, it's not Jason. But you know, like in music, being like, oh, here's this,
Is it Daniel Ward?
and it's Daniel Ward. No. And it's just like it's never quite good enough.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, and it's like that can be said in a way that's encouraging,
Mm-hmm.
you know. But also like going back to the Badger thing, it's like I don't know, like
It's dual pronged, right? Because on one hand, you can say she was being honest. You look like a badger. On the other hand, you could say she didn't want her in that meeting. She wanted to go do that meeting herself so that she could exert her influence.
yeah, maybe.
And both are true,
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
and
so
it's
it's
like
like-
she got her way. She
right?
got the queen out of the way. But also like, I don't know, as I've gotten older, there's a point where it's like, I mean, if you really love someone, be
Let him
honest.
go.
What?
Let him go.
Let him go.
Hit
Be
the
honest.
cobblestones.
But also like you would know,
Don't aim for the bushes.
you would know the person well enough, I would think.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like so for my show, I didn't do it because it got here too late, but I was going to paint my nails. I was going to paint them like a pearl white. And then the polish got here too late. It was a whole thing. But I like would want to know, like, does this look stupid?
Yep.
But also I've made it clear, like, hey, I want to do this. Like, I don't really care.
Mm-hmm.
So my thing is that if Anne had walked out and said, oh, wait, did she say, how do you look? Did she ask Sarah for her opinion?
How do I look? I think.
Okay, because I was going to say, like, if I come to you and say, like, what do you think
No.
about my hairline?
Sarah said, "Who did your makeup?"
Oh, see, that's worse. That's worse. If I come to you and say, what do you think about X?
Mm-hmm.
I want to know what you think about X. And you say, I don't love it. Be like,
But
okay.
if you walk
But
in
if
the
I
room,
just walk in and you're just like, what the fuck happened to you, ugly?
you know that skit, it's a Auntie Donna skit where it's like Zach tries a new look and he like
yeah, I've only seen it once, but I have seen it.
he
Yeah.
like comes in the room and he's wearing this like quirky outfit and his friends just start laughing. It's like that. It's like he, you know.
Dude, I remember I know we're off topic now, but I remember when I wore that, remember that brown hat? He used to wear like the fedora
Mhm.
hat.
Mm-hmm.
I remember buying it. I probably told you this, I don't know, but I remember buying it. I told Hannah, I was like, look, I'm going to need support
Yeah.
because it's unfortunately the world we live in. I was like, I'm afraid to wear this, but I want to be able to pull this off. And so, yeah, I was like, I need support from the people that I love
Yeah.
because if someone says that looks dumb, I'm going to believe them.
Well, it's like the American tank top, the American flag tank top.
I still have that fucking shirt, just so you all know.
Hunter, this was the summer of 2011, right? It was right
It's
after.
a different tank top now, but it's 2.0. But yeah,
Wasn't it?
It would have been like right after high school. So
Yeah, so
2011.
2011, summer 2011. Hunter bought this American flag tank top. I think
From-
we went
it
to
was
Little.
it was American Apparel.
Yeah, American Apparel.
Before they closed.
Right by Little Five, because we were in Little Five, and Trey was like, "It's real close. It's only 0.2 miles," but it ended up being 2
and we
miles.
walked 2 miles away.
I
Yes.
think, right? Doesn't
Yeah.
that sound right?
That's when we walked to Urban Outfitters, which Urban Outfitters, if you're ever in Atlanta, is not actually in Little Five.
Mm-hmm.
It's just sort of near it.
Anyways, did you wear it to the pool? Where'd you wear it? That everyone just started like.
I wore it to a party.
Ripping
Was
you
it
a
the
new
party
one?
that you were supposed to drive somebody to the airport the next day and you broke the lamp? Is that the party?
I didn't break a lamp.
I thought you threw a pillow and broke a lamp.
Melissa threw a pillow
Oh, okay.
and broke a lamp.
Okay.
I did not break a
I
lamp.
think it was that party.
The only thing I was guilty of was allegedly being an asshole, which was just like my general demeanor, I guess, at the party.
We
I'm
were
not sure.
18.
And
Doesn't
then
matter.
the second thing, whoever's house we were at, I don't even remember. He had an accordion. He played the accordion.
Brian something.
Okay, Brian. His little sister was like, "Do you want to play Monopoly?" And I was like, "I want to play Monopoly." And she set it up, like got all the money ready. And then I was like, "I don't want to play Monopoly." I think you were in on that too. Only thing I did wrong at that party. And then I got a little drunk. I was supposed to drive someone to the...
I think you just rode in the back of the truck, didn't you?
Who drove? Tori.
No, yes, Tori drove.
Mm-hmm.
I remember you went to the airport, but you did not drive.
Correct.
Yeah.
Because I had to be there.
You had to
Because
be
I
there.
said that I was going to take him. So I coordinated the ride. And I
Yes.
was in it.
Anyway, yeah, I wore the tank top to that. I think it was that party.
And he got ripped apart. And you didn't wear it again for a long time.
No. I think I wore it first time to Colton's party because I woke up with nips for tips on my chest.
That's the same party that we're
Oh,
talking
okay.
about.
Well, that was Colton's house.
Was it Colton's
I thought
house?
so. Doesn't matter. Okay, yes, that party. Actually, here's a good example. Ethan listens to this podcast. Ethan and Brooks, I love them both. They both on the podcast.
Mm-hmm,
When I was in high school, I wrote a song about a train.
Yep.
And they made fun of me for so bad for that song for like, it wasn't even just like one time. And I was like, I'm never playing this song ever again.
Song about a train.
But like what it was.
Drive train.
What it was. What it was, I can look back now and think, yeah, that was a stupid song. But what it was is that I was trying to learn how to write music.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's
And then all your
scary.
friends,
And then they're like, this is fucking stupid.
all your closest
Like,
friends
oh
are like, this fucking guy. So this is a little different than that.
no. A little different. But I look back and it's like, what do I want to know?
Mm-hmm.
Did that push me to write better music or did it just hurt my feelings? It just hurt my feelings.
You could have wrote 10 songs about trains.
I know. So Anne I think it just hurt her feelings. I don't think she was like, because she's already so insecure. Remember when she's like trying to get that speech to like tell them taxes are being raised and she pretends to faint. And
Did she pretend to faint?
I think she pretends to faint. And she was like, and I heard the word fat. Like, she's like, all these things are already, she's like, they're staring at me. She's already so insecure
Mm-hmm.
to be told like, you look like a badger
Yep.
is like detrimental.
True.
Anyway.
I have a question.
Yeah.
When she had her like episode of gout, were they putting raw meat on her legs?
Yeah.
Is that a treatment for gout?
I have no idea. Yeah.
Because that's okay. I
Also,
just want
like,
to make sure that's what they were doing.
She's so unhealthy.
What do you mean?
Like, is that what gout is? Like, that's awful.
Yeah.
I didn't realize gout was like that gross.
What? Like sores on the legs?
I didn't know that. That was like something you had in your feet.
Well, it is. You can go up your legs. Yep.
Sorry, now I'm reading about her again.
About her gout.
Just about her.
You know that there's very little overlap between real life and...
No, I know. It's interesting. Anyway.
What do you think about Colonel Masham? Do you think she really liked Abigail? Or do you think he was just doing it because his superior, who was...
Nicholas Holt.
Right, what's his name in the movie?
Harley.
Robert Harley wanted him to like get intel.
I think he did like her. I think he was attracted to her.
Okay.
But I think maybe he... Excuse me. I think maybe like I think it's all kind of a little bit of both. But I think no, actually back that up because I think he wanted to marry her. I think he was attracted to her. I think he liked her.
Mm-hmm.
I think he was very intrigued by her. I think of their wedding night, and he's like, "Hey."
That's something, by the way, there's a quote that I'm going to use one day.
Okay, what is
I
it?
am rock hard and it is my wedding night. Then she gives him the Hawk Tua. Just finishes him off.
I don't even think she even did that.
Like it's a mortality or a fatality in Mortal Kombat.
But yeah, so like on that note, like he was like, I want to be with you, to put it politely. And she was like, okay, come here, I'll do this real quick while I continue to brainstorm about my plot.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I think he was definitely more invested in her than she was like, this is my safety net. I'm like, I made it. How can I get her out? Like then I think that's when she is like, I'm going to get rid of her, essentially.
I don't think I've ever plotted the downfall of my enemies.
Me neither.
Like mid, not at all. I have, but like
really?
mid. I plot your downfall all the time.
Okay, but like not mid hand job.
Right.
You know,
Giving
like-
or receiving. In neither case have I ever.
I don't think I have either.
It's just interesting.
I wonder if that like does that like fuel the brainstorm, or you like get better ideas? Is it like
Maybe
singing in the shower or whatever? You get good ideas.
it's the same as singing in the shower.
Singing in the shower.
plotting and hand jobs. Oh
You think
goodness.
it's just hand jobs, or is it just like, or are we taking this too far?
Take it as far as you want, Hunter.
I was gonna say like, could you? I feel
You don't have to be embarrassed.
I feel rude saying it.
See, it's okay if I say it. Because then you can just
But-
laugh
but
and maintain your innocence and be
Yes,
like,
exactly.
oh, Zach is so quirky. But if you say it, so I want to hear it.
They're like, oh, actually, he's an asshole.
Not an asshole.
Gross.
Just nasty.
I don't even know.
You're gonna have to
what
go
we were,
back pretty far
I
for
don't
that
even
one.
Know what we were talking about. What did you think? Was the political aspects of it interesting to you at all?
You mean like
I mean, it's all kind of the same thing. It's
The
all
war?
It's all
Or
like, it's all. Well, I'm just saying, like Harley and Dolphin.
it's all this power play Game of Thrones stuff.
What
Like
do you think of the naked Tangerine Man?
it was something. Do you think what was he supposed to be?
I just think it's the absurdist part of it. It's like the pleasure has to come at the expense of another.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, the
Like the doves.
the humiliation. What?
The birds.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, yeah, like it there's a cost, and it usually is.
Today I learned that Hunter does not know what a dove is.
Well, I just didn't know what you meant. Were those doves or those like pigeons?
Maybe they were pigeons.
Maybe you don't know.
You
what
thought
a
I was
pigeon
talking about
is.
soap, didn't you?
What?
You thought I was talking about soap?
No, I thought you were talking about like doves, like white doves, turtle doves. I don't know why, but my mind immediately went to like Home Alone 2 and Lost in New York, where he's like, "Take the turtle doves." You know that scene where he's
Yeah,
at the
yeah.
toy store, and he's like, "Wow, there's two of them."
Home Alone
Anyway,
2? You
Home
mean
Alone- isn't that Lost in New York?
is that the second? That's the second
I thought
one,
it's
starring
second one.
Donald Trump.
Yeah, starring movie star Donald Trump. That's why he's famous, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because that movie. But anyway, yeah, like I think it's like this absurdist. There's such a division. Like there's class division now. Like wealth division is bad now, but back then it was even more extreme, where it's like the class system of like you are less than, you know, and my
No, I'm not.
comfort. This guy, my comfort and my amusement need to come at your expense. And I think that's kind of what that was. It's like absurdist
Mm-hmm.
kind of thing. What about you? Do you agree?
I agree. I agree with what you said.
Okay. Just so you know, the Braves game has been postponed.
Do you know how many games we've had postponed? We're going to be playing a lot right before October.
Yeah,
probably.
dude, the Phillies have played like 6 more games than us.
Mm-hmm.
Something crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
Maybe that'll light a fire right before the playoffs.
we're already like going like close to an hour. Have we talked about this movie at all?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have. What'd you think of the end?
I
What did that last little shot mean for you?
Well, it encapsulates how, despite everything that transpired, I think it was all about Anne,
Mm-hmm.
because it began with her, and then it had her rabbits in it. Despite everything that transpired, not only did she lose her friend, but all she was left with in her life was these like symbolic, fluffy rabbits that pretend to like. Abigail is like one of the rabbits, right?
Yeah.
It's symbolic of something that she wants, like this unconditional love, but she doesn't have,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, that's what I think about the end, which
Yeah.
is very sad.
Yeah, I think that's. I would take it as one step further in the sense of that I also do think it shows that Abigail doesn't really have what she was after.
Abigail doesn't. Yeah.
Yeah, like when she grabs her hair and stuff. Like
Mhm.
it's not like she's got some. She's not even happy being the favorite anymore.
Abigail's not.
Yeah, it's
Well,
just
sure.
it's just like a means to an end for her too.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Which I think, if it's going to be like that, would just continue to feed the cycle of cruelty that she's going to have.
Probably.
Like she's getting crueler and crueler, and Anne is getting more and more unhealthy because Abigail doesn't.
Abigail didn't take care of her
doesn't
anymore.
actually care about her
Yeah.
really.
Whereas Sarah would continue to take care of her. Abigail's not even taking care of her anymore.
Yeah, I mean Sarah would do stuff even to a fault where she's like, you can't have any hot chocolate because of your stomach.
I need someone
And-
like that in my life.
And sits there and eats cake all day, and Abigail's like, whatever. But Sarah's like, how about you don't, because you're gonna get sick.
Then she got sick, and
And
then she
she's-
just kept eating.
Yeah, she's
Cake.
already sick. Yeah, I think it's a really funny because it's like a really funny movie in a kind of a dark comedic way,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not like some hard to watch. Like it's interesting, it's power plays and those kind of things, but it's dark comedy. But then the last shot is really disturbing. You know,
Mm-hmm. That little bit of horror, like I was saying.
like
It's like,
it's a sprinkling of like, oh, I don't feel comfortable anymore.
yeah.
There was one scene where like Hannah was working on the couch and I was watching it, and there was like what was happening on screen wasn't scary, wasn't bad. It was some dark comedy lines, but the music was like the dun 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 dun, dun. And I literally was just thinking, man, this score is incredible. It's so
Mhm.
effective. And before I could even say that, Hannah was like, I hate this music. It makes me uncomfortable. And I was like, exactly. Exactly.
did it.
It's exactly what it's trying to do. I said, you should feel very uneasy. And so it just sets this tone of like real quick, briefly, like even visually, not even so like, maybe not visually, but like technically the film is so accomplished. The score makes you feel very like anxious, but these shots show these characters in such wide spaces where they're so small in the frame sometimes, where it's like they're alone, like they're these little things
Right.
in this big space that they're alone in it, in these empty spaces. So I thought it was really, really, just really effective. So now you have to ask me a question, don't you?
Hunter,
Hey, Zach.
but is
I don't know.
the favorite good?
I've never seen that movie. I watched The Favorite, not The Favorite. You gonna ask me again correctly this time? Please?
I asked you the question the way I fucking wanted to.
Okay. The Favorite's exceptional.
There you go.
It's a good movie.
Yep.
Going good, maybe?
I think so.
Yeah.
Can we have 7 Yorgos movies in there?
Rank them real quick. What's your favorite Yorgos ones that we've watched? We've
Well,
watched
Poor
3.
Things is my favorite.
Okay.
This is better than The Lobster to me,
Yeah.
personally.
So Poor Things, The Lobster. Poor Things, the favorite than The Lobster.
We'll see where Kinds of Kindness.
Kinds of Kindness is one of his lower rated movies
Well,
on Rotten Tomatoes.
it got a standing ovation at Canes.
Doesn't everything though?
True.
Anyway, yeah, it's very good. Please watch this movie. It's if you are nervous about a Yorgos film, this is probably the most accessible one to start off with. Good. Every movie sucks.
Every single one.
Every movie sucks.
Every single one.
Every movie
Zip it with
sucks.
us. Every single one. Who was that guy that had all those songs? He was like, "I've got the magic in me." Zip it was the B.O.B. Bob.
Oh yeah. I only know his what's the
Airplanes in the night sky.
Like
I can really use a wish right now.
I could really use a genie or a wish. Something.
There you
So
go.
much better than
I'm just
this.
rapping.
Now I'm just rapping to stay relevant. Anyway, here we go.
Every movie sucks.
Half star. What is this bullshit?
Dang. Give me a second. Pointless.
Level 10, half star. Level 10, bullshit, crying emoji face, crying emoji face, crying emoji face, skull emoji, skull emoji, skull emoji.
I should have watched. Excuse me. I should have watched Lego Batman again.
That is a good movie. This is. Hold on a second. Okay, I'm gonna read this. It's kind of long, but let's just see. Half star. Emma Stone sticks out too much. She doesn't look English, and she has too much of a modern face. I can honestly say that I do not believe the role of Anne to be that taxing. I often enjoy period pieces, but this I dislike so much. It was slow-moving, unenjoyable, and there were barely any storyline. The multiple incidents of vomiting were so unnecessary. The acting is subpar, and so are the actors. The only scene I found relatively enjoyable was Marshall and Abigail in the woods. Apart from that, I sat there dazed and irritated, thinking it would never end. Even towards the end, when I changed it to 1.5 speed, it felt slow as it did at normal speed. What a long 2 hours.
That person wants to watch like Nicholas Sparks films.
She has too much of a modern face. Wow. Let's see what she likes.
The fate of a kingdom could have been saved by a threesome.
Oh, yeah.
Is a review. It's not my original thought.
This person's favorite movies, one of them is called Lust and Caution. Never heard of this? Anyway. That good? Every movie sucks.
Every movie sucks, and it sucks.
Cool. What is long legs?
Let's talk about the news.
Let's talk about the news. Oh, apparently got 100%. What? What is this?
What is it? What are you looking
It's
at?
called long legs. Wow, 100%. 11 reviews. Wow. Okay, cool. Here's some news, some movie news.
How I get Hunter back on track.
Here's some news.
Just
some
start
movie
speaking to
news,
him in
yeah.
fifth dimensionese.
Movie news. I'm gonna sing it. Got a new trailer for Smile 2. It looks pretty creepy, but maybe just kind of a rehash of the same thing. I'm not gonna do that. Matt Damon and Ben Affleck are gonna star together in a crime thriller called R.I.P. Megalopolis has found a buyer and gets a release date in the U.S. That's going to be in September. Eugene Levy, Eva Longoria, and Zach Galifianakis have joined season 4 of Only Murders in the Building. We find out that production has begun on Freaky Friday 2 with Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan returning, and Chad Michael Murray, apparently. I'm not kidding.
Are they going to switch?
I don't know.
It's just
Don't
going to be
know.
like old to older?
I don't know. Lanterns, the series on HBO Max, has been officially teased by DC with some posters. We got a new trailer for Nosferatu, which looks wild.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, Nosferatu's trailer's out. I didn't watch it, but I saw some stills and they look crazy.
You didn't watch it?
No, because I'm always busy. And then here's one that I know that you'll want to chime in on. The big news is that we got a new look at David Cornsett Superman suit, as well as Mr. Terrific, and as of like 2 hours ago, his first look at his Clark Kent, which I think looks pretty bad.
He's got the Riz.
I actually really like the Superman suit. I think it looks awesome.
Him as Superman looks good.
Yeah, people are saying that the suit doesn't fit right, but like also like you're looking at behind the scenes pictures, you can't take that as it is. I think the colors are great. He looks great. I like the suit, like the texture, but his hair as Clark Kent does look interesting. I don't like it.
Yeah. Yeah. There were some more people, like all of the Daily Planet, there were stills of them.
Like Lois Lane and stuff.
Lois
I did see
Lane.
Lois.
Huh?
I said I did see her.
There was Lois and
Jimmy Olsen, was he in there?
hmm
Yeah. Okay.
more people.
Interesting. I'm excited for it.
And then there was
frankly.
one that I wasn't sure if it was a joke or not. It was who's the player that John Cena, or who's the character that John Cena plays?
Peacemaker.
Peacemaker,
Really?
but
It could be fake.
is probably fake. I mean,
Yeah.
come on.
I thought that Mr. Terrific looked very good. He's very
Would you
accurate.
say he looked terrific?
He looked terrific. And then last two things, Atlanta has officially placed a $2 million bid to become the new host of the Sundance Film Festival,
Trying to pause it.
which I think would be amazing
That'd be cool.
if we get that. And then sad news to end on, Donald Sutherland passed away last week.
Rest in peace.
So there's your news. Zach, how are the Braves doing? And
Hold on.
be kind of quick because, hold on, my computer's dying, so we got to do Braves.
Okay, fuck. I wanted to watch the Nosferatu trailer.
I'll just do it.
Well, the Braves are winning. They've won 8 of the last 10,
Mhm.
so that's good.
Does that count last night because they lost?
Maybe not. I don't know. Anyways, they're trending upwards.
Yeah.
The Phillies. We have some. We have the ability to gain some ground on the Phillies right now. It looks like, because the Phillies are kind of underperforming, and the Braves are performing as they should,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe still underperforming a
They've
little
gained
bit.
what, 3 games total? There were 8 games back then. They were what, 11?
Yeah, they were 11.
Okay.
Could have been 7 today, but whatever.
Could have been 7 if they had won last night, but they lost.
True. Well, no, it would have been
No, it would have been 7. Phillies won last night. Braves lost.
okay.
So now it's 8.
Would it not have just been 7.5?
No, because they both played.
You're right. You're right. He's right. You're right.
Continue.
We're at least getting some hits.
Mm-hmm.
Hits are important.
Mm-hmm.
Pitching. We've been pitching. Braves.
Very brave of you.
Thanks.
I
Whiskey.
don't have any whiskey because I'm out, but I have water and I'm very tired. Whiskey shots. We love whiskey and cats, and we miss Jack and whiskey. And tell somebody that you love them.
Where can they find us?
Oh, wow. That's so strong.
Where can they find us?
You can find us on the internet. I don't know. You can find us on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube at Bud is a Good Podcast. You can find us on X, if anybody still uses that, at BIIG Podcast. You can email us at budisagoodpodcast@gmail.com. You can find me at Hunter Cali Music everywhere. You can find Zach on Instagram at Zach with an H2, the number, the THA future.31. We are supposed to be doing Kinds of Kindness next week, if I can see it in Wisconsin. We're doing this, guys. We're here.
We're here.
Bye.
See ya. But is it good podcast? Yeah.